Hello there everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another song review for Eurovision 2025. The song Poison Cake by Marko Bošnjak from Croatia is the one that I want to talk a little bit about today because I have some thoughts that I've been thinking about today, I suppose, about this song. So I just felt like, okay, this is the next review that I'm going to record, and yeah, hopefully I'll get my points across here in this video. This is an intriguing little entry, I would say, in the selection. This, of course, is a national final winner. I did not follow this national final, so I don't know what this song sounds like in the live performance, and I don't know what the competition was like. But I have some thoughts about this one, and I'll try my best to get those across to you as we watch the music video here. I'll stop when I have something to mention that I think is worthy of note. The one thing that we really noticed from the beginning is a bit of... it's very heavily focused on the vocal introducing the song. The pads in behind are really kind of not doing much. They're just there to provide a little bit of a setting. Not a lot of energy kicking the song off. I think we're going to get to that quite shortly. But for now, it's all focused on the vocal, I would say. And yeah, we'll see where we get from here. A lot of intriguing word choices, of course. And you know what? I really don't think I will, to be completely honest here, Marko. But I will give you the benefit of the doubt and give it a proper re-listen here. But one thing you notice immediately when this, I know you're gonna love this line, hits, is the fact that you get this wooden block coming in the background with such a, it's not really a piercing sound, but it's such a distracting sound for me. It kind of becomes, you know, it's just there for, it sounds like a placeholder to me anyway. Not like it's part of the soundstage from the pads here. It's a bit of an odd combination of sounds, really. I mean, the more you focus on this wooden block hit that kind of establishes the rhythm here, the more off it sounds to me anyway. You hear like how every hit, it just pushes out all of the other sound, really. Like it becomes a very contrasting device, I suppose, within the soundstage of this track, and I don't really particularly enjoy it. It really seems like I'm nitpicking at the moment, but it's just something that throws me off from the beginning, and you really need to sell the song from the opening line. There's not really a lot of energy going on in the opening. It's very close and intimate, and then you throw in like a sound collection that I'm not particularly clicking with yet, I suppose. This opening, I mean, it sets the tone for sure, but let's see where we go with it, because I think that it kind of, it does a few things here that I'm not entirely sold on, and one of those things will of course be like the switch up here. It's kind of cool because it really pushes the song in a new direction, and it wants to really be attention grabbing and assertive, and there is something quite fun about this rhythmic hit that it does, the 1, 2, 3. Because this kind of rhythm, it establishes itself, it's something that's attention grabbing, but the sound design on it, I'm not particularly sold on. I think it's not entirely forceful enough in terms of the actual percussive hits there. They're not layered that strongly to really become as intense as I think they want them to be. And then you layer that with a kind of a whispery vocal that is, of course, very monotonous. This is a monotonous melody for sure. It highlights the rhythm, yes, but intonation-wise, it's not really that intriguing. We'll listen to the very introduction of this again, like the way that it hits. We got the sweep effect. And there's like also this resonance on the bass notes here. It's very much vibrating a lot, and it has a bit of an odd sound to it, which I can't really put my finger on what it sounds like, but it's just something that leaves a bit of a sour taste in my ears, I suppose. There's just not a lot of conviction about the actual impact of these hits for me anyway. I think that there's something quite off-sounding with the whole experience here. Melodically as well, of course, it kind of just emphasizes that delivery, really. And there is like very strange backing vocal on this too, isn't there? It's like this kind of whisper. It kind of sounds like a demonic kind of tone, something that speaks like in swaying motions, very fast and abrupt, and it sounds strange in the backdrop as well. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull off that live, of course. Like, will they use a backing track, or will someone stand there close to the mic and say, "Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh"? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting anyway. But yeah, okay, let's see where we move. I'm not sold on this section of the song. However, it is a cool switch up, so there is a bit of both, I suppose. Let's see what comes after though. One thing they do well here is the fact that it's actually building in terms of the energy behind the vocal. The thing with me is that I'm not enjoying this vocal style and really like the content matter of it. It seems like very much it's trying to be a bit hee-hee and funny with its content matter, and then singing in the way that Marko here does. It's kind of in a bit of a juvenile way, I suppose, and it almost sounds like a bit of one of these, rhymes that you did in kindergarten or whatnot. And these kind of aspects, they just collectively become something that I don't personally enjoy. However, credit where credit's due, this is an effective way of building up the song, because this is of course pretty much like a hook part of the track. This is supposed to be a memorable section, and the way that you introduce the chorus is that you gradually develop the percussion and the drum loop here along with the sweep, so you kind of feel like there's a bit of like a clock sounding effect ticking up towards the actual hit of the chorus, I suppose. But listen to it again, how it gradually increases here. There's this clock going back and forth. You hear the drum beat coming in as well, gradually, and the sweep. And a bit of a fun thing, like completely dynamically just kills the backing track really for this, what was it? Something with Poison Cake. What did he say? Take a bite of my poison cake. Okay, so take a bite of my poison cake. That very like small little vocal sample in there, it's effective because it's a transitional device between the two parts. You've had a build-up, and this is definitely something that is memorable in terms of its lyrical side of things, I suppose, and then you're really creating the pause of it to make sure that the chorus will hit hard. So it's effectively structured in that sense. However, this hook that we get in the song then is... You hear exactly what I'm hearing. A lot of chaotic drumming, which is kind of cool. And I kind of like that little bit of a vocal sample as well, the one that kind of goes in towards the end of the lines. After he's shouted poison cake 4 times in a row in a monotonous manner, you get this little response from that kind of vocal stab, really. And that's a nice little variation. It creates some dynamic within the hook of the song. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I find this to be a very stale hook, unfortunately, because it basically consists mainly of a man shouting poison cake 4 times in a row without any variation, really. The drumming is effective here. I like those vocal stabs, not a lot else. And of course, this also means that in 1 minute of the song, we've had 4 parts that are completely different to each other, which is kind of intriguing. It feels a bit chaotic and incohesive so far. And I think probably like the main thing that I'm mostly skeptical towards is that second part of these, because I think the build-up works well in moving up towards this chorus, but I feel like we've definitely left what we started off with in this song, and I'm not so sure on that. Let's see where we get after this, though. This is a bit of so the fact that the percussion is maintained here, the drum beat is still there is some energy from that, of course, and then the vocal style is switching up a little bit. It's more rhythmically catchy here, I would say. This is a very accessible part of the track vocally, I would say, and the energy of the backing track is definitely there as well. So this feels like a solid continuation from what we have so far. Next up, we're getting into another bridge, I suppose. And one thing you really notice here, like this is another, like a bit of a new part of the song. It definitely develops throughout quite heavily. And melodically, this is a really nice section. I think that the vocal lines in here are very satisfactory. They work very well as well with how the instrumental develops here, because what you hear from the first part here then, I suppose, very deep brewing. You feel like you've got these kind of pads or very warm synth strings in the background. There's a little bit of brightness in that, and switching up the vocal melody while also adding another instrumental layer in here it's very effective in actually developing the song and making sure that the listener feels the continuation of it as well, and it becomes satisfactory to listen to. So I'm very fond of this part of the track, really. And of course, it helps that the melody here is really quite enjoyable. And that's a little bit of a fun detail as well. You throw in a little bit of a growling harmony behind it, which is fun. I appreciate that, I really do. Now we kind of kill the energy for another build-up, I suppose. The percussion is completely scaled back again. We got this wooden block thing that's really the only thing we got from the percussion now as well. And I feel like maybe this chopped up structure that the song is going for, it does take me out of it quite a bit. There is never really a moment where I feel like I'm definitely entirely embraced by the song. I think that would be the correct word to use here. Atmospherically, a very wide array of kind of synth work. Leading into one more of these parts with the dun dun dun, which, you know, has it has the rhythmic identity, but again, it's 1-2 parts too many within the song, I suppose. The development feels a bit on the tacky side because of it, I suppose. You never really get a moment to feel like the song is actually just going on and being enjoyable for what it is. It feels like it needs to throw a curveball at you at every single given opportunity, and I'm kind of getting a bit tired of that personally. So yeah, we'll just let it do its thing here. This is of course a part that's very, very similar to the first time around we had this kind of concept. And it does the same thing, you know, it follows it up with this a bit, like I'll call it the juvenile sung hook of the song, because that's really what it is. Again, we've got this little clock effect, we're gonna get the sweep, we're gonna get the drum fills gradually going in here, which is, again, an effective way to build some intensity within the track, or some engagement, I suppose. And again, a very effective kind of transition there between these two parts. It does things very effectively at times. It's just that the overall like arrangement of the track is something that, you know, it rubs me the wrong way, I suppose. Again, the hook, it's the same thing really, like we've heard it before, of course, and that doesn't really matter because this is the selling point of the track. The only issue is that they have like 4 selling parts of the track, and all of them kind of repeat in the same way, so it's not particularly interesting because of that. They need to stick to, or I would have preferred it if they stuck to 1 or 2 of these parts, I suppose. This hook, I will be completely honest and say that I don't particularly enjoy it. I mean, him shouting Poison Cake 4 times in a row, it's not a very entertaining hook for me anyway. And what happens after that is, of course, we get a completely brand new section as well. We got a little bit of a vocal switch up here. The vocal harmony on this part is unfortunately very flat because it's basically the same melody just layered on top or behind, really. Note for note, no real kind of variation provided by that. So harmonically, this is not an interesting part, really. However, the guitar work in here is kind of neat. I think that adds a little bit of flavor to this part of the song and makes sure that it's kind of warranted to provide something new within the song as well, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of there, I suppose. It's another little playful part of the song in a song that really wants to be playful quite heavily throughout. You know, it does a lot of things like creatively here. Like it has its ideas of how they want to, you know, kind of throw you off and get you intrigued by it. Maybe it's just a bit too ambitious in that regard, and you don't really have much of substance song-wise behind it to back that ambition up, I suppose. Rhythmically here, it does a lot of cool things, like a little bit of glitch work, some syncopation in there. The high note introduces the final chorus quite well here. This final part of the song is, you know, I'm a bit torn on the fact that they're using the half-step beat still here, because it's not particularly intense or energetic. What's gonna happen is, because of course, like if I keep playing the song, we're gonna get the double time beat coming in here. Here we go. So this is like a part of the track where you really feel the intensity and the adrenaline going within the song as well. It's nice that they include this. I would have probably preferred them to just throw that in immediately here after the little breakdown section there, because you really need to get your point across and get moving immediately there. I feel like this first half of the final part of the song is a bit on the underwhelming side. When this double time beat kicks in, you definitely feel the intensity and the energy of the track. The sound design is still a little bit of an issue here. I don't think that this drumming is particularly convincing in its sound delivery. If we just listen to the kick drum that kind of pushes the song forward here when they go this double time. It has a little bit of like that resonance from, I wouldn't really say like a hardstyle kick, but it's definitely within that vein, because it has a resonance in terms of a like tonality that it bounces off of, but it's still not the most driving or forceful drum beat that really is supposed to kick this song and keep it, you know, really impressive towards the end. The high notes are nice details here to just kind of make sure that the song really still, this is like the high part of the track, I suppose. This is a monumental finale or whatnot. Ultimately, it's just probably the production that holds back this section from its full potential, I suppose. Again, you got like a little bit of fun like variations rhythmically within the percussion and also these vocal stabs in there. But at the end of the day, it is I would say a lot of it comes down to sound design and production in here that makes this not sound as convincing as it really could have done. And I think that's where my main issue lie, I suppose. Yeah, really, I think those are really my main thoughts about it. Hopefully I've been somewhat clear in what I think about the song. I'm not entirely convinced with this one. This is probably the song that I've reviewed so far that I'm most skeptical towards. And the main reason for that would probably be just the fact that I find this one to be quite incohesive. I don't think that it's polished to the same degree as a lot of the other songs in the competition. It has fun ideas in there. There are playful things about it. Subjectively, it's not a song that I would ever really, you know, seek out, and I don't find it particularly fun. I understand if others do. For me, this is a little bit of a less enjoyable effort, though, than a lot of the other songs in the competition, I suppose. But still, I want to give credit where credit's due. There are things about this song that I think really works, and I definitely admire the ambition that they've gone for. They want to do a lot of things with the song, and you can never really fault anyone for doing that. Yeah, those are my thoughts anyway. Please share your thoughts about the Croatian entry in Eurovision if you want to in my comment section. I'll be looking forward to reading all about that. And yeah, until next time, take care of yourselves, and bye for now.